Hey guys, Cesar and Pam with cesarandpam.com.
Hello.
Don't sell your soul, your family, or your health to grow your business or your career. And we're excited about helping you guys. I know I made a quick video about it, about subject today. And again, I want to repeat, we don't want to be controversial. We just want to share the truth with you today, because there's an increased fear of people coming out of quarantine. We have a business in internet business in the travel industry, and we are planning now a couple of trips, one in September to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and another one in October, same place. And there's a sense of fear, and people are hesitant, right, honey, about traveling. And what about a church? I mean, we just experienced in churches opening slowly here in the U.S.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fear about just getting sick, getting the coronavirus. But I think we need to understand this, what Cesar and I talked about, what we want to just talk about today, is what keeps us healthy. What has God already given us in our immune system that we can strengthen and learn to just be wise, but not live in fear. Because, well, from the time, a baby is born, I love that, Cesar was just saying this in Spanish, but from the time the baby's born, we don't live in a bubble, the baby comes out of your womb where they're so safe and secure into this world where they have to get used to all the stuff, and they start crawling and touching everything and always putting everything in their mouths. But we're designed that way. That's how their bodies are figuring it out, how to have a strong immune system.
Yes, we have an immune system that is learning continuously. And
yeah, so even when I think that's something that scares people, like, oh, this is something new. This coronavirus is new. And I've heard some doctors say, that we've been fighting coronaviruses for a long, long time. Yes, this strain might be different, but our bodies are constantly having to deal with new viruses. God is just intricately designed us to be able to fight against things that are foreign.
so I think it was reasonable when we first were learning about the coronavirus. Nobody knew what it was, right? To quarantine, although it's very strange to quarantine the healthy, not the sick, because they said, oh, you don't have any symptoms and you could be contagious, right? But at first, okay, I understand. But as we have now gone over almost 3 months of this, we have numbers. And I've been listening to a lot of doctors here in the U.S. and also in other countries, because our business that is all over Europe and Latin America allows us to see what's going on in other countries, what other cities are doing, what other states are, not just countries. And by looking at the numbers, looks very similar to the flu, right? And I'm just going to share a few numbers, because I didn't record this in English for a channel, but is that okay, honey, or is that too much? Otherwise,
you can.
Okay, I'm going to share a little bit of the numbers. So these two doctors who own 7 clinics in California, they tested over 5,000 people, and they found 240 cases, which is 6.5%. So it's a viral, widespread infection, similar to the flu, right? And 280,000 cases in California. These are numbers that are a few weeks old, so bear with me, but they're very similar as everything progresses. 280,000 tested, 33,800 positive, which is 12% of Californians had the virus. Millions of deaths were predicted. However, not true. The state has 39.5 million people, only 4.7 million were positive, so it's widespread, but only 1,227 deaths, which is 0.03% chance of dying from the coronavirus in California, 3 out of 10,000 people. So why all the sheltering? Why are we shutting down the medical systems? Why are we not working? 96% of people in California recover with no significant continuing problems. The more you test, prevalence goes up, but death stays the same, which means the numbers are actually getting smaller. What about New York? New York State, 649,000 tested, 256,000 cases. That's 39%. That's very high. 19,000 deaths out of 19 million people. What are the chances of dying? 0.1%. 92% recovery rate. In the US, 4 million tested, twice as many as other countries. Sure, Germany has 2 million, but it has a lower population, of course. But 802,000 cases, 19.6%, and which is 328 million population. That would be 64 million tested positive. If you extrapolate the numbers, that's similar to the flu. Spain, which was hit hard, and we have business in Spain, and I know a lot of people there, 930,000 tested, 204,000 cases, that's 22% tested positive. Out of 47 million people, that's 10 million cases, 21,000 deaths. The chances, if you do the numbers, 0.05% of dying from the virus, 90% recovery without hospitalization. Sweden, which had a semi-open, they didn't fully quarantine. We also know people there from our business. 74,000 tested, 15,000 cases, that's 21%, 10.4 million population, 2 million equivalent, 2 million cases, 1,700 deaths. Chances of dying, 0.01%. What about Norway? Their neighbors in Norway had a full lockdown. 145,000 tested, 7,000 cases, that's 4.9%. In a population of 5.4 million people, that's 1.3 million cases, only 182 deaths. Percentage of you dying, 0.003%, 97% recovery. So the question is, what about the secondary effects of this quarantine? We've seen a rise in family members intoxicated, people not working, people not being productive, depression, sexual abuse, physical abuse, suicide, anxiety, diabetes, etc. People that are having real problems, appendix ruptures, and they don't want to go to the hospital because they don't want to catch the virus. So how is it different from the flu? 2017, 2018, 50 to 60 million people had the flu, 37 to 60,000 deaths every year, according to the CDC. And with similar death rates, 43,000 deaths, and they're not all reported. So only 50% of people received the flu vaccine, which actually shows that the rate for you to get the flu once you get the vaccine is higher, 36% higher. 2017, 45 million cases, 62,000 deaths, 0.13% possibility of dying from the flu, much higher than the COVID, and which starts in October every year and affects the whole population, but people are not afraid of it. Why? Because it's not strange, it's not unusual. So let's go into the immune system, which you talked about, honey. The most important thing we can do is to raise our immune system during this time. Go ahead.
Well, and I think I was talking to a friend, she's from Romania, from our church, and I think we're not aware sometimes, especially us, like we have a family, we're in quarantine with 4 of our kids, and each other, and we have a good relationship, and so we are touching and we're having contact, but there's people that aren't having any of that they're alone. And my heart really goes out to the elderly in our facilities and things that are alone, and that they're not allowed to be touched. They're not allowed to see family members, and then I hear the reports about suicide and, like you said, abuse. I mean, we are blessed to be in quarantine with our families and be in a place where we can go outside and we can get fresh air and sunshine, but there are people that are stuck in a room, by themselves, or in a family situation that is not healthy. And I think that there's so many reasons why we shouldn't be quarantining now, because it's not healthy for our society.
Yeah. And now let's look at the virus. I mean, it's going through mutations. Mutations because of the sci-fi movies we watch. We think like, oh no, it's mutating, it's getting more dangerous. Mutation always means in science a loss of information, which means it's actually your bodies are learning about it. Your bodies are learning how to combat it every year, just like the flu. So there's 3 things that I want you to consider. And again, I can't talk like this is gospel, but I want you to think about 3 things. Number 1, the largest industries in the world, oil industry, travel, food, and pharmaceuticals.